Hi everyone, this is Abrar. Welcome to Abrar Knowledge channel. Today's topic is on QMS principle. So all these standards, as you all know, that are framed up with the principle, framed up with some framework. That framework is called quality principle or QMS principle, right? So initially ISO 9000 and 2008, it is shortly known as CLIP CFM, right? First one is customer focus, second one is leadership, involvement of people, process approach, system approach, continual improvement, factual approach, factual based decision making, and mutual supplier relationship. This was the old QMS principle, in which the easy way we had at that time was CLIP CFM, CLIPS, CLIPS CFM. So that is what the 8 QMS principle were there. Now this has been revised to 7 QMS principle. Starting the QMS customer focus will remain as a customer focus. For example, class number 5.1.2, it talks about customer focus. How an organization should have a customer focus. For example, if you look at read the class number 5.1.2, all the classes, if you look at it, it has used top management shall, because that class is leadership class, right? The top management shall demonstrate the commitment for quality management system and enhance the customer satisfaction. So the satisfaction customer focus is being there in direct word, is there in 5.1.2. That is in the plan. The same thing you will also find in the checked also as well, that is class number 9.1.2, and in that same thing again it says customer satisfaction. In that things it gives a very nice reference. It says that the organization can have a method or methodology to evaluate the customer, and then it, in the end 9.1.2, the last you have a note meaning like additional reference point or the guideline. It says that you can do warranty claim analysis, you can do customer perception analysis, or you can do customer satisfaction analysis, you can do the complement analysis. All these analysis that can point to customer focus to gauge the perception, degree of perception of the customer view that is being there in these two direct one. Even if you take 5.1, that is leadership and commitment, so 10 points being given to leadership team. For example, the leadership team shall demonstrate the effectiveness or demonstrate the quality management system effectiveness, right? And also it gives that top management, I mean the second point is establish the quality policy and objectives and all that. And then one of the point, it also talks about the customer focus enhance, right? Enhance the customer focus, that is also there. So the customer focus was there in ISO 9001 2008. Now also as customer focus is there, no change, but only thing is slight changes in the structure, because the ISO 9000 2015 itself, the complete structure has got changed. For example, initially it has got 8 classes, ISO 9000 2008. Now it has got 10 classes. The structure of the standard itself has got changed. Therefore, so these two are the classes which will directly reciprocate on the subject of customer focus. Let's talk about the second element. The second element, you have leadership. Here also the word leadership. Now in this one, the one complete class has been dedicated for leadership. For example, I already talked about in my previous video, the entire class. So there are 3 words being used, and the sentence start this way: the top management shall demonstrate. What demonstrate? Leadership and commitment. And then it gives a 10 point. Again 5.1.2, it talks about customer focus, yeah, and that is one. And then 5.2, it talks about policy, establishing the policy, communicating the quality policy. 5.3, again it says the top management shall ensure the roles and responsibility are communicated, understood within the organization and all that. So therefore, the entire class 5 is the classical example you can quote on leadership, because one complete class is being dedicated for the leadership class as such. For example, 5.1, 5.1.2, 5.2, 5.2.1 and 5.3, right? All of these classes point to leadership. Yeah. So next you have involvement of people. Now it is slightly got changed. The verbiage has got changed. It's called engagement of people. So how the people is very important, right? So then it has been used. You can quote two examples. So I think this is one of the important questions whenever you're writing the certification program for maybe internal auditor or the lead auditor. This may be an important topic to remember, right? The QMS principle. Let's talk about the engagement of people. Engagement of people, you will get the reference in 7.2. You all know that the word 7.2 is competence. In the competence, you will find that in all of the classes, class number 7 is what? Support. Most of the things it has used the word resources, right? When you say resources, what does it mean? It include all the 6M: man, machine, method, material, measurement, mother nature. When it comes to 7.2, competence of a people, it talks about the people. And then 7.3, awareness. What are the awareness? 4 awareness we need to have. Anybody in the organization, top to bottom, not only the leadership team, not only the middle management, or everyone in the organization should know 4 things. Number 1, as per 7.3, the awareness. 1, what is the quality policy? Number 2 is what is quality objective? And number 3 is what is the benefit of quality management system? Number 4 is what is the implication of not following the quality management system, or what is the implication of not meeting the customer requirement. So these 4 things are being coined in 7.3, right? So that goes to show that engagement of people, right? You can give more example. 7.3A, 7.3B, 7.3C, 7.3D. Let's talk about process approach, system approach. These two being combined, now it's called process approach. In the process approach, you can give a lot of model. One of the typical model you can follow is the standard itself. What does it mean? So if you look at the standard class number, there are 10 classes. Out of it, 7 are mandatory classes. And if you look at context of the organization, that is class number 4. And then class number 5, leadership. Class number 6, planning. Class number 7, support. All of these things plan. And do you have class number 8? And class number 9 is performance evaluation. Class number 10 is improvement. So exactly, even if you go back to this one and 4.4, what is the 4.4? Quality management system and its processes, the entire output, right? Entire product. That entire product or service, that is process approach, a complete structure like process approach, how the process has to be interacted, and what is the governance model, who is the supporting functions, who is the main functions, what are the management processes you have, and all that. You can do it with the help of site park document, supplier input, process output, customer, or you can do it with the process interaction matrix, and you can use a different model as such. Let's talk about improvement. So the word continual improvement still exists in the ISO 9015, but actually just to remove the ambiguity, they have just used improvement. But actually the improvement, for example, let's say when you say continual improvement, it is generally misunderstood that it is a breakthrough changes, a big project and all that, right? So the system comes back and QMS ISO 9015 comes back with the explicit term. It's called improvement. So improvement, again, if you take 5.1.1, one of the things is improvement. The top management shall ensure that improvement is happening, right? Even if you go back to class number 10, and there also you will find improvement, right? So 10.2, that is continual improvement and all that. So you can give many examples, okay? And then factual based decision making, it has been slightly reworded to evidence based decision making. Any decision you take it, we need to have a data, right? With the help of data, we have to take the decision. Take an example of class number 9. Analyze of data, monitor the data, and how do you, all the KPIs, key process indicator, all of these things, we need a data. Only then we will be able to take the right decision, right? Take an example of 9.2.2, internal audit. We need a data, we need a evidence-based thinking, right? All of these point to evidence-based decision making, right? So you can say 9, you can say 9.2.2 and various other examples. The lastly we have mutual supplier relationship. The word only supplier was there. Mutual supplier relationship. When we deal with the outsourcing process, like when we give it to supplier, what we have to do is we have to make sure the relationship. We should make sure that they're also part of the organization indirectly and all that, right? Because they also contribute for the the quality management system and all that, right? So in that, now it is being reworded. Now the broader term being used. What is the broader term? Relationship management. Why it is being relationship management is used? The classical reason is 4.2. What does mean 4.2? So you remember understanding the need and understanding the interested parties, need and expectation of interested parties. When you say interested parties, as I said in the class number 4 in separate video, so interested parties could be your supplier, interested parties could be a customer, stakeholder, and so on and so forth. Now it has used a bigger term. Not only you have to have a good relationship with the supplier, that is external provider, but also you should have with all the people. Overall, your interested parties, you should have a great relationship. That is what all about. And this, I hope this video is very informative to you. Please do comment, like, share, subscribe my channel. You have a wonderful day ahead.